Welcome to The Read. Today we'll be reading one of the most popular books by E.L. James, titled 50 Shades of Grey, narrated by Anastasia Steele. Chapter 3. Kate is ecstatic, but what was he doing at Clayton's? Her curiosity oozes through the phone. I'm in the depths of the stockroom, trying to keep my voice casual. He was in the area. I think that is one huge coincidence, Anna. You don't think he was there to see you, she speculates. My heart lurches at the prospect, but it's a short-lived, dull, disappointing reality is that he was here on business. He was visiting the farming division of USU. He's funding some research. I mutter, oh yes, he's given the department a $2.5 million grant. Wow, how do you know this? Anna, I'm a journalist and I've written a profile on the guy. It's my job to know this. Okay, Carla Bernstein, Keeper, you want these photos? So, of course I do. The question is, who's gonna do them and where? We could ask him where. He says he's staying in the area. You can contact him. I have his cell phone number. Kate gasps. The richest, most elusive, most enigmatic bachelor in Washington State just gave you his cell phone number. Yes. He likes you. No doubt about it. Her tone is emphatic. Kate, he's just trying to be nice. But even as I say the words, I know they're not true. Christian Grey doesn't do nice. He does polite, maybe. And a small, quiet voice whispers, perhaps Kate is right. My scalp prickles at the idea that maybe, just maybe, he might like me. After all, he did say he was glad Kate didn't do the interview. I hug myself with quiet glee, rocking from side to side, entertaining the possibility that he might like me for one brief moment. Kate brings me back to the now. I don't know who will get to do the shoot. Levy, our regular photographer, can't. He's home in Idaho Falls for the weekend. He'll be pissed that he blew an opportunity to photo one of America's leading entrepreneurs. What about Josie? Great idea. You ask him he'll do anything for you, then call Gray and find out he wants us. Kate is irritatingly cavalier about Josie. I think you should call him. Who? Josie? Kate scoffs. No. Gray? Anna, you're the one with the relationship? Relationship? I squeak at her, my voice rising several octaves. I barely know the guy. At least you've met him, she says bitterly. And it looks like he wants to know you better. Anna, just call him. She snaps and hangs up. She is so bossy sometimes. I frown at my cell, sticking my tongue out at it. I'm just leaving a message for Josie when Paul enters the stock room looking for sandpaper. We're kind of busy out there. Anna, he says without acrimony. Yeah, sorry, I mutter, turning to leave. So, how come you know Christian Grey? Paul's voice is unconvincingly nonchalant. I had to interview him for our student newspaper. Kate wasn't well. I shrug, trying to sound casual and doing no better than him. Christian Grey and Clayton's. Go figure? Paul snorts amazed. He shakes his head as if to clear it. Anyway, want to grab a drink or something this evening? Whenever he's home, he asks me on a date, and I always say no, Ritual. I've never considered it a good idea to date the boss's brother, and besides, Paul is cute and a wholesome all-American boy. Next, but he's no kind of literary hero, not by any stretch of the imagination. Is Grey. My subconscious asks me, her eyebrow figuratively raised. I slap her down. Don't you have a family dinner or something for your brother? That's tomorrow. Maybe some other time, Paul. I need to study tonight. I have my finals next week. Anna, one of these days you'll say yes. He smiles as I escape out to the store floor. But I do places, Anna, not people. Josie groans. Joseph, please? I beg. Clutching my cell, I pace the living area of our apartment, staring out of the window at the fading evening light. Give me that phone. Kate grabs the handset from me, tossing her silken red blonde hair over her shoulder. Listen here, Josie Rodriguez, if you want our newspaper to cover the opening of your show, you'll do this shoot for us tomorrow, Capic. Kate can be awesomely tough. Good. Anna will call back with the location and the call time. We'll see you tomorrow. She snaps my cell phone shut. Sorted. All we need to do now is decide where and when. Call him? She holds the phone out to me. My stomach twists. Call Gray? Now. I scowl at her and reach into my back pocket for his business card. I take a deep, steadying breath, and with shaking fingers, I dial the number. He answers on the second ring. His tone is clipped, calm and cold. Gray. Mr. Gray? It's Anastasia Steele. I don't recognize my own voice. I'm so nervous. There's a brief pause. Inside I'm quaking. Miss Steele, how nice to hear from you. His voice has changed. He's surprised, I think, and he sounds suck warm, seductive even. My breath hitches and I flush. I'm suddenly conscious that Catherine Kavanagh is staring at me, her mouth open, and I dart into the kitchen to avoid her unwanted scrutiny. We'd like to go ahead with the photo shoot for the article. Breathe. Anna, breathe. My lungs drag in a hasty breath. Tomorrow, if that's okay. Where would be convenient for you, sir? I can almost hear his sphinx, smile through the phone. I'm staying at the Hethman in Portland. Shall we say 9:30 tomorrow morning? Okay, we'll see you there. I am all gushing and breathy like a child, not a grown woman who can vote and drink legally in the state of Washington. I look forward to it. Miss Steele. I visualize the wicked gleam in his gray eyes. How can he make 7 little words hold so much tantalizing promise? I hang up, Kate is in the kitchen, and she's staring at me with a look of complete and utter consternation on her face. Anastasia Rose Steele, you like him? I've never seen or heard you so affected by anyone before. You're actually blushing? Oh, Kate, you know I blush all the time. It's an occupational hazard with me. Don't be so ridiculous. I snap. She blinks at me with surprise. I very rarely throw my toys out of the pram, and I briefly relent. I just find him intimidating, that's all. Heathman, that figures, mutters Kate. I'll give the manager a call and negotiate a space for the shoot. I'll make supper. Then I need to study. I cannot hide my irritation with her as I open one of cupboards to make supper. I am restless that night, tossing and turning, dreaming of smoky gray eyes, coveralls, long legs, long fingers, and dark, unexplored places. I wake twice in the night, my heart pounding. Oh, I'm gonna look just great tomorrow. With so little sleep, I scold myself. I punch my pillow and try to settle. The Hethman is nestled in the downtown heart of Portland. Its impressive brownstone edifice was completed just in time for the crash of the late 1920s. Josie, Travis, and I are traveling my Beetle, and Kate is in her CLK, since we can't all fit in my car. Travis is Josie's friend and golfer, here to help out with the lighting. Kate has managed to acquire the use of a room at the Hethman free of charge for the morning in exchange for a credit in the article. When she explains at reception that we're here to photograph Christian Grey, CEO, we are instantly upgraded to a suite. Just a regular-sized suite, however, as apparently Mr. Grey is occupying the largest one in the building. An over-keen marketing executive shows us up to the suite. He's terribly young and very nervous for some reason. I suspect it's Kate's beauty and commanding manner that disarms him because he's putty in her hands. The rooms are elegant, understated, and opulently furnished. It's 9. We have half an hour to set up. Kate is in full flow. Josie, I think we'll shoot against that wall. Do you agree? She doesn't wait for his reply. Travis, clear the chairs. Anna, could you ask housekeeping to bring up some refreshments and let Grey know where we are? Yes, mistress. She is so domineering. I roll my eyes, but do as I'm told. Half an hour later, Christian Grey walks into our suite. Holy crap! He's wearing a white shirt, open at the collar, and gray flannel pants that hang from his hips. His unruly hair is still damp from a shower. My mouth goes dry looking at him. He's so freaking hot. Grey is followed into the suit by a man in his mid-30s, all bust cut and stubble in a sharp dark suit and tie, who stands silently in the corner. His hazel eyes watch us impassively. Miss Steele, we meet again. Grey extends his hand, and I shake it, blinking rapidly. Oh my, he really is quite a wow. As I touch his hand, I'm aware of that delicious current running right through me, lighting me up, making me blush, and I'm sure my erratic breathing must be audible. Miss Grey, this is Catherine Kavanagh, I mutter, waving a hand toward Kate, who comes forward, looking him squarely in the eye. The tenacious Miss Kavanagh, how do you do? He gives her a small smile, looking genuinely amused. I trust you're feeling better. Anastasia said you were unwell last week. I'm fine, thank you, Mr. Grey. She shakes his hand firmly without batting an eyelid. I remind myself that Kate has been to the best private schools in Washington. Her family has money, and she's grown up confident and sure of her place in the world. She doesn't take any crap. I am in awe of her. Thank you for taking the time to do this. She gives him a polite, professional smile. It's a pleasure, he answers, turning his gray gaze on me, and I flush. Again, damn it. This is Josie Rodriguez, our photographer, I say, or grinning at Josie, who smiles with affection back at me. His eyes cool when he looks from me to Grey. Hey, Mr. Grey. He nods. Mr. Rodriguez. Grey's expression changes too as he appraises Josie's. Where would you like me? Grey asks him. His tone sounds vaguely threatening, but Catherine is not about to let Josie run the show. Mr. Grey, if you could sit here, please. Be careful of the lighting cables, and then we'll do a few standing. A 2. She directs him to a chair set up against the wall. Travis switches on the lights, momentarily blinding Grey and mutters an apology. Then Travis and I stand back and watch as Josos proceeds to snap away. He takes several photographs handheld, asking Grey to turn this way, then that, to move his arm, then put it down again. Moving to the tripod, Joso takes several more, while Grey sits and poses, patiently and naturally, for about 20 minutes. My wishes come true. I can stand and admire Grey from not so afar. Twice our eyes lock, and I have to tear myself away from his cloudy gaze. Enough sitting. Catherine wades in again, standing Grey, she asks. He stands, and Travis scurries in to remove the chair. The shutter on Jose's Nikon starts clicking again. I think we have enough. Jose announces 5 minutes later. Great, says Kate. Thank you again, Mr. Grey. She shakes his hand, as does Josie. I look forward to reading the article. Miss Kavanagh, murmurs Grey and turns to me, standing by the door. Will you walk with me, Miss Steele, he asks. Sure, I say, completely thrown. I glance anxiously at Kate, who shrugs at me. I notice Josie scowling behind her. Or, good day to you all, says Grey as he opens the door, standing aside to allow me out first. Holy hell, what's this about? What does he want? I pause in the hotel corridor, fidgeting nervously as Grey emerges from the room, followed by Mr. Buzz, cut in his sharp suit.
I'll call you Taylor,
he murmurs to Buzz Cut. Taylor wanders back down the corridor, and Grey turns his burning gray gaze to me. crap, have I done something wrong? I wondered if you would join me for coffee this morning. My heart slams into my mouth. A date? Christian Grey is asking me on a date. He's asking if you want a coffee. Maybe he thinks you haven't woken up yet. My subconscious whacked me in a sneering mood again. I clear my throat trying to control my nerves. I have to drive everyone home. I murmur apologetically, twisting my hands and fingers in front of me. Taylor, he calls, making me jump. Taylor, or who had been retreating down the corridor, turns and heads back toward us. Are they based at the university? Grey asks, his voice soft and inquiring. I nod, too stunned to speak. Taylor can take them. He's my driver. We have a large 4x4 here, so he'll be able to take the equipment too. Mr. Grey, Taylor asks when he reaches us, giving nothing away. Please, can you drive photographer, his assistant, and Miss Cabinet back home? Certainly, sir. Taylor replies. There, or now can you join me for coffee? Grey smiles as if it's a done deal. I frown at him. Mr. Grey, this really look, Taylor doesn't have to drive them home. I flash a brief look at Taylor, who remains stoically impassive. I'll swap vehicles with Kate if you give me a moment. Grace smiles a dazzling, unguarded, natural, all teeth showing glorious smile. Oh my, and he opens the door of the suite so I can re-enter. I scoot around him to enter the room, finding Catherine in deep discussion with Jose. Elena, I think he definitely likes you, she says with no preamble whatsoever. Jose glares at me with disapproval, but I don't trust him, she adds. I raise my hand up in the hope that she'll stop talking. By some miracle, she does. Kate, if you take the Beetle, can I take your car? Why? Christian Grey has asked me to go for coffee with him. Her mouth pops open. Speechless Kate? I savor the moment. Or she grabs me by arm and drags me into the bedroom that's off the living area of the suite. Her Anna, there's something about him is full of warning. He's gorgeous, I agree, but I think he's dangerous. Especially to someone like you. What do you mean, someone like me? I demand, affronted. An innocent like you, Anna, or you know what I mean, she says, a little irritated. Flush. Kate, it's just coffee. I'm starting my exams this week, and I need to study, so I won't be long. She purses her lips as if considering my request. Finally, she fishes her car keys out of her pocket and hands them to me. I hand her mine. I'll see you later. Don't be long, or I'll send out search and rescue. Thanks. I hug her. I emerge from the suite to find Christian Grey waiting, or leaning up against the wall looking like a male model in a pose for some glossy high-end magazine. Okay, let's do coffee. I remember flushing a beet red. He grins. After you, Miss Steele. He stands up straight, holding his hand out for me to go first. I make my way down the corridor, my knees shaky, my stomach full of butterflies, and my heart in my mouth thumping a dramatic, uneven beat. I'm gonna have coffee with Christian Grey. And I hate coffee. Or we walk together down the Whitehall corridor to the elevators. What should I say to him? My mind is suddenly paralyzed with apprehension. What are we going to talk about? What on earth do I have in common with him? His soft, warm voice startles me from my reverie. How long have you known Catherine Kavanagh? Oh, and easy questions for starters. Since our freshman year. She's a good friend. He replies non-committal. What is he thinking? At the elevators, he presses the call button, and the bell rings almost immediately. The doors slide open, revealing a young couple in a passionate clinch inside. Surprised and embarrassed, they jump apart, staring guiltily in every direction but ours. Grey and I step into the elevator, or I am struggling to maintain a straight face, so I gaze down at the floor, feeling my cheeks turning pink. When I peek up at Grey through my lashes, he has a hint of a smile on his lips, but it's very hard to tell. The young couple says nothing, and we travel down to the first floor in embarrassed silence. We don't even have trashy piped music to distract us. The doors open, and much to my surprise, Grey takes my hand, clasping it with his long, cool fingers. I feel the current run through me, and my already rapid heartbeat accelerates. As he leads me out of the elevator, we can hear the suppressed giggles of the couple erupting behind us. Grey grins. What is it about elevators? He mutters. We cross the expansive, a bustling lobby of the hotel toward the entrance, but Grey avoids the revolving door, and I wonder if that's because he'd have to let go of my hand. Outside, it's a mild May Sunday. The sun is shining and the traffic is light. Or Grey turns left and strolls to the corner where we stop waiting for lights at the pedestrian crossing to change. He's still holding my hand. I'm in the street, and Christian Grey is holding my hand. No one has ever held my hand. I feel giddy, and I tingle all over. I attempt to smother the ridiculous grin that threatens to split my face in two. Try to be cool. Anna, my subconscious implores me. The green man appears, and we're off again. We walk 4 blocks before we reach the Portland Coffee House, or where Grey releases me to hold the door open so I can step inside. Why don't you choose a table while I get the drinks? What would you like? He asks, polite as ever. I'll have English breakfast tea bag out. He raises his eyebrows.
No coffee.
I'm not keen on coffee. He smiles. Okay, bag out tea, sugar. For a moment, I'm stunned, thinking it's an endearment, but fortunately my subconscious kicks in with pursed lips. No, stupid, do you take sugar? No thanks. I stare down at my knotted fingers. Anything to eat? No, thank you. I shake my head and he heads to the counter. I surreptitiously gaze at him from beneath my lashes as he stands in line waiting to be served. I could watch him all day. He's tall, broad-shouldered, and slim, and the way those pants hang from his hips, oh my. Once or twice he runs his long, graceful fingers through his now dry but still disorderly hair. I'd like to do that. Or the thought comes unbidden into my mind and my face flames. I bite my lip and stare down at my hands again, not liking where my wayward thoughts are headed. Penny for your thoughts? Gray is back, startling me. I go crimson. I was just thinking about running my fingers through your hair and wondering if it would feel soft to touch. I shake my head. He's carrying a tray, which he sets down on the small, round birch veneer table. He hands me a cup and saucer, a small teapot, and a side plate bearing a lone tea bag labeled Twining's English breakfast favorite. He has a coffee, which bears a wonderful leaf pattern imprinted in the milk. How do they do that? I wonder idly. He's also bought himself a blueberry muffin. Putting the tray aside, he sits opposite me and crosses his long legs. He looks so comfortable, so at ease with his body. I envy him. Here's me all gawky and uncoordinated, barely able to get from A to B without falling flat on my face. Or what are your thoughts? He prompts me. This is my favorite tea. My voice is quiet, breathy. I simply can't believe I'm sitting opposite Christian Grey in a coffee shop in Portland. He frowns. He knows I'm hiding something. I pop the tea bag into the teapot and almost immediately fish it out again with my teaspoon. As I place the used tea bag back on the side plate, he cocks his head, gazing quizzically at me. I like my tea black and weak, I mutter as an explanation. I see. Is he your boyfriend? Who, what? The photographer. Josie Rodriguez. I laugh, nervous but curious. What gave him that impression? No, Josie's a good friend of mine, that's all. Why do you think he was my boyfriend? The way you smiled at him, and he at you. His gray gaze holds mine. He's so unnerving. I want to look away, but I'm caught spellbound. He's more like family. I whisper. Gray nods slightly, seemingly satisfied with my response, and glances down his blueberry muffin. His long fingers deftly peel back the paper, and I watch, fascinated. Do you want some? He asks, and that amused, secret smile is back. No thanks. I frown and stare down at my hands again. And the boy I met yesterday at the store. He's not your boyfriend. No, Paul's just a friend. I told you yesterday. Oh, this is getting silly. Why do you ask? You seem nervous around men. Holy crap, that's personal. I'm just nervous around you, Gray. I find you intimidating. I flush scarlet, but mentally pat myself on the back for my candor and gaze at my hands again. I hear his sharp intake of breath. You should find me intimidating, he nods. Your please don't look down. I like to see your face. Oh. I glance at him, and he gives me an encouraging but wry smile. It gives me some sort of clue what you might be thinking. He breathes. You're a mystery? Mysterious? Me. There's nothing mysterious about me. I think you're very self-contained, he murmurs. Am I? Wow, I'm managing that. This is bewildering. Me? Self-contained? No way. Except when you blush, of course, which is often. I just wish I knew what you were blushing about. He pops a small piece of muffin into his mouth and starts to chew it slowly, not taking his eyes off me. And as if on cue, I blush. Crap. Do you always make such personal observations? I hadn't realized I was. Have I offended you? He sounds surprised. No, I answer truthfully. Good. But you're very high-handed. I retaliate quietly. He raises his eyebrows and, if I'm not mistaken, he flushes slightly too. I'm used to getting my own way, Anastasia, he murmurs. In all things. I don't doubt it. Why haven't you asked me to call you by your first name? I'm surprised by my audacity. Why has this conversation become so serious? This isn't going the way I thought it was going to go. I can't believe I'm feeling so antagonistic towards him. It's like he's trying to warn me off. The only people who use my given name are my family and a few close friends. That's the way I like it? Oh, he still hasn't said. Call me Christian? He is a control freak. There's no other explanation. Or in part of me is thinking maybe it would have been better if Kate had interviewed him. Two control freaks together. Plus, of course, she's almost blonde, well, strawberry blonde, like all the women in his office. And she's beautiful. My subconscious reminds me. I don't like the idea of Christian and Kate. I take a sip of my tea and Gray eats another small piece of his muffin. Are you an only child? He asks. Whoa, he keeps changing direction. Yes. Tell me about your parents? Why does he want to know this? It's so dull. My mom lives in Georgia with her new husband, Bob. My stepdad lives in Montesano Ba. Your father? My father died when I was a baby. I'm sorry, he mutters, and a fleeting troubled look crosses his face. I don't remember him. And your mother married? I snort. You could say that? He frowns at me. You're not giving much away, are you? He says dryly, rubbing his chin as if in deep thought. Neither are you? You've interviewed me once already, and I can recollect some quite probing questions then. He smirks at me. Holy shit, he's remembering the gay question. Once again, I'm mortified. In years to come, I know. I'll need intensive therapy to not feel this embarrassed every time I recall the moment. I start babbling about my mother, anything to block that memory. My mom is wonderful. She's an incurable romantic. She's currently on her fourth husband. Christian raises his eyebrows in surprise. I miss her, I continue. She has Bob now. I just hope he can keep an eye on her and pick up the pieces when her harebrained schemes don't go as planned. I smile fondly. I haven't seen my mom for so long. Christian is watching me intently, taking occasional sips of his coffee. I really shouldn't look at his mouth. It's unsettling. Those lips. Do you get along with your stepfather? Of course. I grew up with him. He's the only father I know. And what's he like? Ray, he's taciturn. That's it? Gray asks, surprised shrug. What does this man expect? My life story? Taciturn like his stepdaughter? Gray prompts. I refrain from rolling my eyes at him. He likes soccer, European soccer especially, and bowling, and fly, fishing, and making furniture. He's a carpenter, ex-army. I sigh. You lived with him? Yes. My mom met husband number 3 when I was 15. I stayed with Ray. He frowns as if he doesn't understand. You didn't want to live with your mom, he asks. I blush. This really is none of his business. Husband number 3 lived in Texas. My home was in Montesano. And you know my mom was newly married. I stop. My mom never talks about husband number 3. Where's Gray going with this? This is none of his business. Two can play at this game. Tell me about your parents, I ask. He shrugs. My dad's a lawyer, my mom is a pediatrician. They live in Seattle. Oh, he's had an affluent upbringing? And I wonder about a successful couple who adopt 3 kids. Or one of them turns into a beautiful man who takes on the business world and conquers it single-handed. What drove him to be that way? His folks must be proud. What do your siblings do? Waleed's in construction and my little sister is in Paris, studying cookery under some renowned French chef. His eyes cloud with irritation. He doesn't want to talk about his family or himself. I hear Paris is lovely. I murmur, why doesn't he want to talk about his family? Is it because he's adopted? It's beautiful. Have you been? He asks, his irritation forgotten. I've never left mainland USA, so now we're back to banalities. What is he hiding? Would you like to go? To Paris? I squeak. This has thrown me. Who wouldn't want to go to Paris? Of course, I concede. But it's England that I'd really like to visit. He cocks his head to one side, running his index finger across his lower lip. Oh my. Because I blink rapidly. Concentrate. Steele. It's the home of Shakespeare, Austen, the Bronte sisters, Thomas Hardy. I'd like to see the places that inspired those people to write such wonderful books. All this talk of literary greats reminds me that I should be studying. I glance at my watch. I'd better go. I have to study. For your exams? Yes, they start Tuesday. Where's Miss Kavanagh's car? In the hotel parking lot. I'll walk you back. Thank you for the tea, Mr. Gray. He smiles his odd, I got a hoping big secret smile. You're welcome, Anastasia. It's my pleasure. Come, he commands and holds his hand out to me. I take it bemused and follow him out of the coffee shop. We stroll back to the hotel, and I'd like to say it's in companionable silence. He at least looks his usual calm, collected self. As for me, I'm desperately trying to gauge how our little coffee morning has gone. I feel like I've been interviewed for a position, but I'm not sure what it is. Do you always wear jeans? He asks out of the blue. Mostly. He nods. We're back at the intersection across the road from the hotel. My mind is reeling. What an odd question, and I'm aware that our time together is limited. This is it. This was it, and I've completely blown it. I know. Perhaps he has someone? Do you have a girlfriend? I would blurt out. Holy crap, I just said that out loud? His lips quirk up in a half smile, and he looks down at me. No, Anastasia, I don't do the girlfriend thing, he says softly. Oh, what does that mean? He's not gay. Oh, maybe he is crap. He must have lied to me in his interview. And for a moment, I think he's going to follow on with some explanation, some clue to this cryptic statement, but he does to go. I have to try to reassemble my thoughts. I have to get away from him. I walk forward, and I trip, stumbling headlong onto the road. Shit, Anna! Gray cries. He tugs a hand that he's holding so hard that I fall back against him just as a cyclist whips past, narrowly missing me, heading the wrong way up this one-way street. It all happens so fast. 1 minute I'm falling. The next I'm in his arms, and he's holding me tightly against his chest. I inhale his clean, vital scent. He smells of fresh laundered linen and some expensive body wash. Oh my, it's intoxicating. I inhale deeply. He whispers. He has one arm around me, clasping me to him, while the fingers of his other hand softly trace my face, gently probing, examining me. His thumb brushes my lower lip, and I hear his breath hitch. He's staring into my eyes, and I hold his anxious, burning gaze for a moment, or maybe it's forever, but eventually my attention is drawn to his beautiful mouth. Oh my. And for the first time in 21 years, I want to be kissed. I want to feel his mouth on me.